Hello, business owners. How are you doing? This is Daryl Guberman, the CEO of Guberman PMC LLC, a quality consulting firm here in Connecticut. I have assisted companies in manufacturing quality and also ISO certification, all derivatives. I've given you my whole spiel about my background: aerospace, medical implants, medical materials, printing, and plastic distribution, where we dealt with all kinds of different areas of specialty and industries. This video today is how China uses ANSI-ANAB, IAF, from 2015 to 2021 to control all the federal agencies that sit on the board. Except let's hone in on this: the FBI, the DOJ, the DOD, and the DHS, the Department of Homeland Security. You will find embedded in the description in this video about the DHS. The DHS, you watch the DHS video, everything else falls into place where it comes to FBI, DOJ, and DOD. I will get into this, and I will try to keep this video very brief and to the point. And it's sad. It is absolutely a sad and disgusting arena that we're in when you have our federal agencies that are giving away data, information. And it's in contracts. We have the contracts here, and I'm going to bring them out and show them to you because you need to see this, business owner, my fellow citizens. And we're only going to show you 3 placards, no more, no less. The rest of the data will be down below this video. And as Thomas Paine said, and I will tell you, in speaking the truth, it is many times like administering medication to the dead. And here it is. ANSI, the American National Standards Institute, is a private, not-for-profit, non-governmental corporation that has both federal agencies and corporations on board. They've been in existence for 104 years. I exposed an impropriety with A2LA, which is an accreditation body for laboratory, and I exposed it because they sit on ANSI's board right over by ANAB and right over by ASCLD Lab, both 3 laboratory organizations that accredit labs. You have ASCLD Lab, which is owned by ANSI-ANAB. You also have ANAB as a standalone lab accreditor that has the ILAC, which is the International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation, on board. You also have the factor that you have A2LA on board. And I exposed that factor because they're sitting right on board and they were advertised on the Department of Homeland Security in 2018. I exposed this mess. I get a little tiny text underneath my video that I put out from an Ashley Morton that worked at A2LA, and she said that A2LA and ANSI are 2 separate accreditation bodies in the United States. And I showed her it wasn't true. What happened is we got a call the following day after I responded to her with that video. And we got a call from a Russ Cheney. Russ Cheney is the chairman of of ANSI. He still is the chairman. It's maintained on the 990 tax firm as of 2020. He's still the chairman, it appears. I don't know. And we haven't seen the 2021 tax reports. He's probably still the chairman, an outgoing chairman, whatever. And he called me up and he left me this voicemail. And here it is. Yes, business owners, that's exactly what he said. And the reason why I have the board down corporations and federal agencies, because they condoned it. I did videos on all their CEOs and their, all the CEOs that have individuals like Tim Cook. If you want, go Tim Cook, ANSI, you'll find that out. David Calhoun of Boeing, Tim Cook, of course, of Apple, and you have David Calhoun, Calhoun, and you go space and you go ANSI, you'll find out the whole mess when you look at these videos. And you also have Andrew Updegrove, who was rated between 2004 and 2022 as a super attorney. Well, let me tell you something. Just as Superman was was afraid of kryptonite, and kryptonite made him weak, Guberman will make him weak, because you know something? He's an attorney, and I have a letter here from an attorney that said that both federal court and state court are no more than smoke and mirrors. It's an illusion, okay? So, and I've dealt with that. So if he happens to send a cease and desist or whatever the heck it is, I'll make it into a paper airplane and throw it out the window, because you know why? At least my construction of that airplane will fly. Unlike Boeing, who has massive problems with the 737 MAX, the 777, and 787. I don't pull any bones about this. We have over 40 plus years in quality. And all that I wanted to do in June was join ANSI to change their mission statement. Don't you think their mission statement is a little bit rough around the edges after 104 years of being in business? I do. And let's continue on. Now, what I'm going to show you is something that's disgusting, because during the time that this contract was issued by the Department of Defense, or State Department, whatever, they're all the same, under that one umbrella. Due to the factor that the State Department had this contract, they were being watched over and controlled via their ANSI membership. They were being watched over and controlled by none other than China. And we'll show it to you. 2015, Randy Doherty, the Vice President of ANAB, the Chairman of the IAF, okay, and also the principal on the IAF tax form, handed over leadership to this Communist Chinese national Zhao Jinwu, who is also the Chief Executive of the China National Accreditation Services in Beijing, China, that certified the laboratory in Wuhan. And I want to just show you this for a second, business owners, because I think you need to see this. Here he is, as a matter of fact, in 2017. There's a nice picture of him in Wuhan, China. At the time, he was the chairman of the IAF, Incorporated in Delaware International Accreditation Forum. He was also the chief executive of the China National Accreditation Services in Beijing, China, handing an ISO 17025 certification, whereby a woman, Pamela Sale, who was the vice president of accreditation for ANAB and ASCLD, stated under deposition that there's no protocols in the laboratory. She basically said that it's very plausible, feasible, and probable that that virus that everybody is saying, specialists as well, are saying that escaped from Wuhan, it did, from what she said under deposition. And you'll see it in other videos. I'm not going to repeat it or rehash it. We will, though, as time progresses with other videos. Also, you have Anthony Fauci, NIH, under deposition, being questioned by Senator Rand Paul about gain-of-function research several months ago. And Anthony Fauci says, I don't know anything about gain-of-function. Well, let me just say this. The National Institute of Health sits on ANSI, the Center for Disease Control, CDC, sits on ANSI, right over by the USDA, FDA, Pfizer and Johnson Johnson, who skipped quality processes, those two organizations, those corporations, skipped quality processes to push the vaccine out the window, and they had recalls on that. Skipping quality processes, and they sit on the half a nut fuck you deal, that Russ Cheney, this is Russ Cheney's words, okay, which I let you listen to. And here, let me let you listen to it one more time, because this is his words, not mine. I wanted to be a nominee. I was a nominee, so this is what I learned from being a nominee. Half a nut fuck you, and that was from Russ Cheney. Here it is.
This is Russ Cheney. Please leave a message and I'll return your call as soon as possible. Record your... Half a nut fuck you. Half a nut fuck you. Half a nut fuck you.
Yes, he did say half a nut fuck you. So anyway, getting back to dear old Fauci, Fauci said, I didn't know. All these people talk like Jackie Mason. Jameson Carroll, the lawyer at ANSI, said when he heard the small audio file, I don't know, it could be, I don't think about it, possibly, it's not it. I didn't hear anything. Now, Fauci says, I don't know, I can't, it's impossible, it couldn't be. Everybody has been taking the lead role of, Jackie Mason has passed away several years ago, but these two jokers are just like that. And the worst thing is, two business owners, is that all of these people that are surrounded with this corruption crap, ANSI, ANAB, IAF, and all of their registrars and accreditation bodies, I feel sorry for the people who are actually caring about their jobs at these registrars. If they only knew the backroom dealings that we know about, You have Pfizer and Johnson Johnson skipping quality processes and sitting on a 104-year-old organization. You know why? They're right over by the FDA, not FDA, FDA, USDA, but they're right over by the FBI that investigates those. Same with Boeing, same with Lockheed. It's the same thing. Funny thing with Boeing is that they also sit on ANAB's board that can grant, suspend, and withdraw certification. Wow, isn't that impressive? But the FBI, Christopher Wray, I was rolling on the floor. It was so funny. He said last week, November 15th, 2022, under deposition, he said, TikTok is the destruction of America. He says that every time he's questioned about China. You know something? Between 2015 and 2021, his agency was watched over by communist China. They were also hacked, by the way, by China. As a friend of mine says, who's been in quality for a long time, Rich, he says, Daryl, it's not hacking, it's giving the data away. And that's exactly what happens when you have the IAF with Lockheed Martin sitting there on the IAF between 2015 and 21. And here goes the litany with Lockheed. 2009, Lockheed gets hacked by China, taking their data, the F-35. I feel sorry for the employees there. When you're an employee, you're expendable. But the CEO will get a performance bonus for laying you off, especially in quality. You should know that, quality people. And then you have the factor in 2012, a division of United Technologies, Sikorsky Aircraft gets hacked by China. All these organizations, these corporations sit on ANSI, right over by the FBI, who investigates them. And they also sit by the FAA and all this. And then in 2015, Lockheed Martin goes to buy Sikorsky Aircraft for $9 billion. Anybody in business who goes into it and buys a technological raped organization like Sikorsky, they should have offered him maybe $500 million, not $9 billion. And then in the Connecticut Mirror, newspaper in Connecticut, it's stated, with China's okay, Lockheed Martin closes in on the purchase of Sikorsky Aircraft. With China's okay. And you have the four representatives here who all get disbursements from Lockheed Martin as well. Say that Rosa DeLauro, Richard Blumenthal, Chris Murphy, and Jim Himes say, in a little sentence there, the newspaper says that Connecticut Mirror, you can look it up, with China's okay, Lockheed Martin closes in on the purchase of Sikorsky Aircraft. Look it up, Google it, whatever. I'm telling you a fact. I don't. Integrity, honesty, and the truth. And in a blurb there, it said, Connecticut lawmakers praise Lockheed Martin for working with an international regulator. And then you have Christopher Wray saying that international regulator is a threat to our economy, is a threat to our United States. What kind of schmucks listen to this crap? Or as Russ Cheney would say, half a nut fuck you. That's the kind of quality they dispense. But yes, on government contracts, it states that ANAB is an underwriter, which means that they take full responsibility for anything that happens. Their old saying about, they always say, we only certify the system, we don't certify the product. That goes right out the window by them taking the liability, and I have that. It's right here. Right here. Off a government contract, it says, what makes this bad is that in 2018, the State Department, DOD, all the rest, they were sitting on ANSI. And ANSI-ANAB were sitting on the China-led International Accreditation Forum. And the Chinese National has China National Intelligence Law, Article number 7. So this whole contract is unbelievable. In fact, we asked him some questions, the officer that took care of that solicitation. And let me read it to you, if I may. Will the State Department consider a submittal responsive without IAF and ANAB accreditations at the time of the proposal? The answer, no. At the time of the proposal is submitted, the contractor shall be accredited by ISO 17025 by a U.S.-based accreditation body that is a member of the International Accreditation Forum. So they're already telling you, remember, 2018, Randy handed over leadership in 2015. This was 3 years later. What are we doing now? I want to ask you, what the hell are we doing with this mess? So there you go. It says, it's basically telling you that a member of the International Accreditation Forum whose accredited scope includes 9001-2015. References to ANSI-ANAB must be changed as they unfairly and unnecessary limit competition. And this is what they said. They said, the contractor shall be accredited to ISO 17021 by a U.S.-based accreditation body that is a member of the International Accreditation Forum, whose accredited scope includes 9001-2015. So they basically kept me out. I've lost millions of dollars with these bozos. And that, I will say, bozos. Because you know something? They invited, the State Department, you can see that, they invited Communist China into the facility. They have specifications like NIST SP 800, okay, for cybersecurity that was developed supposedly by the National Institute of Standards and Technology, which is part of the Department of Commerce. They have that issue, and that is an issue, because you know why? NIST also sits on ANSI, and NIST got their data taken 2013 and beyond. In 2013, their National Vulnerability Database got hacked, okay? And you're supposed to look at that. CMMC and CMMI, that the government is pushing down suppliers. That opens up the doors to the IAF. We have actual documents that says supplier must be IAF accredited. That was during 2018, where China was. And here it is. Before we get into this, let me just finish what I said about Fauci. So he said he didn't know anything about gain of function. Well, here's an actual document that states, upcoming events, Second China Workshop on Challenges of Emerging Infections and Laboratory Safety and Global Security. This basically talks about our dilemma with the COVID pandemic. And you see the factor, gain of function is the first one. And this is May 17 to 19, 2017. Isn't that quaint and special? So now I'm going to show you the State Department. Department of Defense is so... Lloyd Austin ought to step down now because he's got a lot of crap to contend with. Because how do we know that he's not Chinese or affiliated with the China? We don't. And don't laugh and say, this guy's conspiracy theory. You don't even know, by the way, where the origin is. Please, if you know the origin of conspiracy theory, write it in the bottom of the comments, okay? Because I bet you don't. But you'll write something sarcastic like some people, not all. So here we go. Again, Randy Doty, Vice President of ANAB, Chairman of the IAF in 2015. He handed over leadership. And by the way, he's also not only the Chairman of the IAF, he also sat on the IAF tax report as principal. Principals have the say when it comes to the operation of the business, supposedly. Anyway, he handed over leadership to Zhao Jinwu, who's been involved with our quality since 1994. He also is the chief executive of China National Accreditation Services in Beijing, China. He is mandated by his country of origin, Communist China, to take your data through the China National Intelligence Law, Article number 7. You have ANSI taking over complete control over ANAB, and you have federal agencies and corporations on board. You have the factor that Zhao Jinwu was certifying the laboratory, again, in Wuhan. You have the factor that Pamela Sale said under deposition that there's no curriculum, there's no processes to follow when you're in the lab. So, of course, the likelihood of that virus escaping is very likely. You have the factor in 2017, Randy Doty was on the Department of Homeland Security, which I did show you in other videos. I will have the DHS video embedded in this, in the description. And Randy was sitting there while his buddy over here, Zhao Jinwu, who's been involved with our quality since 1994, was on the IAF, an American company, an American on a government website, which shouldn't be. And I did a video and they took them on. There is so much information, business owners, that I can give you, but I'm going to stop here. This is 19 minutes long, and this stuff has metastasized over time. It can't be done in a soundbite. It just can't. This video is how China uses ANSI-ANAB IAF 2015 to 21 to control the FBI, DOJ, DOD, and Department of Homeland Security, and Daryl Guberman explains. And I hope I explained it good enough. You'll have other data. If you need anything, please do not hesitate to contact me. We have enough information. And you know something? As A.A. Milne said, and I love quoting him, when speaking the truth, it's many times like administering medication to the dead. Now that's Thomas Paine. And he said, it's easier, A.A. Milne said this, it's easier to believe a lie that one has heard 1,000 times than to believe a fact no one has heard before. I look forward to hearing from you. Daryl, TQRS, at yahoo.com or 203-556-1493. And I thank you.